Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate your service. During your confirmation hearing, I raised concerns about how the IRS considered taxing Colorado's state tax refund, which we call TABOR refunds. I also sent a letter out about this yesterday. As you may remember, the IRS notified Colorado taxpayers in the middle of filing season, right when people were filing their taxes, that it could tax their TABOR refund. In 30 years, the IRS has never done that before. And in February, the IRS issued guidance saying it wouldn't tax TABOR refunds for the 2022 tax year, which we appreciate. But the guidance also opened the door to tax these refunds in the future. In the fine print, the IRS grouped state tax payments into two categories. The first category was state tax refunds, which the IRS almost never taxes. And the second category was general welfare and disaster relief payments, which the IRS is more likely to tax down the road. And for reasons that I still can't understand, the IRS put Colorado's TABOR funds in the second category. I think that the TABOR refunds should have been placed in the first category. They are state tax refunds. This is how the IRS has treated them for 30 years. TABOR refunds only go out, as I think you know, Commissioner, to Coloradans when the state collects more in taxes than we allow in state law. It's a tax refund. It's not a form of income, and it has been treated that way for 3 decades. During your confirmation hearing, you committed to working with my office and the state of Colorado ahead of the next filing season about this. Could you talk about how you're thinking about this now and give some assurance, I hope, to people in Colorado about how this is going to be treated?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I've had some time to start to roll up my sleeves and look at the issue, and obviously there's multiple states that are impacted here. There's questions about the transition of out of the pandemic, where there's different treatments for COVID payments versus not. And I agree, there's confusion, and we need to remediate that confusion. The one thing I will tell you is that we will not allow there to be confusion next filing season. And I want to make sure that you and the state of Colorado and other states impacted have a heads up in terms of how we are sorting through this issue so that there's great clarity going into the next filing season next year. I also need to sort through, Senator Bennet, whose decision, this is a question that came up earlier, who gets to decide? Is it you, Commissioner? Is it the Secretary of the Treasury? Is it Congress? On this one, I'm working with my colleagues at Treasury to make sure that I understand, is this a tax policy call or an IRS administrative call? Bottom line, as we head deeper into spring, but before the summer, I will come meet with you in your office and let you know where this is headed in terms of what the process is, and make sure that you and the state have a heads up in terms of what the moving pieces are.
I appreciate that, Commissioner. I hate to say this, but I think probably I don't get to make the call, and I hope, though, that the people that are looking at this come to understand that the IRS has made this call the same way for 30 years. I mean, it is really aggravating and irritating that this happened during the middle of tax filing
Absolutely.
season. I appreciate your saying that won't be repeated, but that's only part of it. The part of it is upsetting an expectation that really has existed for decades. And I know there are other states involved in this. There is no other state that has TABOR. It's you know that, and so I hope you'll consider that. And I had another question for you about, but I don't have time, so I'm going to submit it for the record. But about the importance of staffing at the IRS and the importance, for example, of having a tax counsel there to be able to help do the work that you're going to be required to do. Because I think honestly, I think part of the problem we ran into the last time we were going through this was the department wasn't staffed up in the way that it needed to be, and people were making decisions maybe without having without being in a position to feel like they had the latitude to, I don't know, I can't explain it, but can you say a word about the importance of having a tax counsel at the
It's
IRS?
absolutely critical. Look, there's only 2 Senate confirmed positions in the IRS, my position and the chief counsel's position. It's really important that we have a chief lawyer at the IRS, because as we've been discussing a lot, so many of these issues, and every one of these issues actually has complicated legal elements. So, we have to recruit lawyers in, we have to work with other Senate-confirmed general counsels across government. Not having a Senate-confirmed general counsel is an impediment, and I'm hoping that we can and that the administration can put a name before this committee.
That's the point. Senator Bennett's absolutely right. We need a nomination. The time of
Thank
my
you, Mr.
colleagues
Chairman.
expired.